right, so we are ready to begin your first practice. And if you notice, we've got our lovely ladies lying on the floor with their legs supported, and we have a little bit of an extra blanket for Anna because her femurs are so long that if we didn't have the blanket under, it would have her legs a little too low. We're looking for a right angle at the knee and a right angle at the hip. And usually any old couch or chair is perfect height for most people, but if you have longer or shorter femurs, you're just gonna wanna make a little bit of an adjustment so that you get that right angle at both joints. And then you notice that I have towels and pillows under the head. And this is because we do have a natural curve to our spine, and the upper spine has a big curve to it. And in the modern lifestyle, our upper spines are usually too curved. Not only that, but they've lost their ability to flex and move. So if you lie on the floor with this curve and you lie back, the weight of your head is going to pop the rib tips up. And so if you have a really deep sway in your back, you may need more of a pillow under your shoulders. And we use a hand towel folded in fours underneath the base of the skull because the weight of the head needs to be propped up just a little bit more than the shoulders do. The ideal position is the 90-90s for the legs, and then enough support so that the tips of your ribs are relatively parallel to the bony protrusions on the front of your hips. Okay, so that's the position. And now that you're in position, this position is the most restful for the deep hip flexors and the spine because they are the first fight or flight responders. And in this position, these areas of your body finally get to see how much tension they've been holding on to, and they get a chance to come back to neutral. So now that you're in position, we're going to have you focus on your breath. And I'd like to have you focus on the direct experience of breathing. And what I mean by that is that there's the breath that you're breathing has a sensory experience to it. And then you have a mind that might be telling you about that experience, talking about where the air goes or how it goes in. Or you may have had some breathing technique classes and those thoughts about those techniques are floating around in your mind. And what we really want you to do is drop all of that and just get into the experience of breathing. And if you notice your mind trying to talk about it or evaluate it, that little ticker tape that's running all the time, just simply observe it and then redirect your focus back to the experience of breath. And next, now that you've been here for a few moments and you're more in your experience than in your head, you're going to ask your body how it would like to breathe. And this is a very significant perspective to take because we do spend most of our lives telling our bodies what to do. And this is an opportunity to be very surprised sometimes at just how much better the body can do if you just get out of the way. And as you're asking your body how it would like to breathe, you could ask, would it like to breathe even deeper? Or even slower? Or even longer? And the more time you spend in experience, and the less time you spend in your mind, so you've been redirecting yourself back to experience, And what you will begin to notice is more sensing. Your body will start communicating to you more about what it's sensing and feeling. It could be something as simple as how your pelvis is sitting on the floor. Maybe you feel more weight in one side of your pelvis than the other. It could be a joint that's you've been having issues with, and it could be now that your mind is quiet and you're focused on your body's experience. Maybe that shoulder aches a little, or maybe the knee. It can be anything. It can be a little twinge in your right pinky toe. You might feel something different across your face. And the main thing is to let your body tell you where it wants you to focus. And the way that it does that is it makes one sensation louder than another. Any sensations that you're experiencing, go diving into them. Whatever you notice speaking to you the loudest, put your focus and attention there and breathe into it. And if there's no loud sensations, then just stay in the experience of breath. And when you're ready, you're going to travel down into your pelvis, and you're going to sense and feel your pelvic floor. And the floor of the pelvis is basically what you sit on, and it's defined by two sits bones that are at the bottom of your pelvis. And with your legs up like this, those two bones are parallel to the floor and pointing right at the object. That's the sides of your pelvic floor. The top of the pelvic floor you could roughly say is the pubic bone, and the bottom is the tailbone. And the pelvic floor makes kind of a diamond shape. So now that you know where it is, you're going to investigate it through your senses. Go and sense and feel the bones and all the muscle tissue in that area. And just about at the center of the pelvis, but a little bit lower, closer to the tailbone, is the anal area. And now you're going to focus on that anal area, which is a nice round shape. And you're going to imagine that you're going to take that circle and you're going to make that circle come into a smaller point. And now you're going to ever so gently actually squeeze that area from its big circle to a smaller circle. And you're going to pause for a moment, and then you're going to ease it all the way back out, and you're going to pause again. And these reactions that our bodies have gone through have been stored for so long, and we've become so familiar with them that that pause at the end is an offer that if there's any leftover tension that you've just gotten so used to you don't even know it's tense, that has an opportunity to ease back out to neutral. So you gently and slowly draw the wink in, and then you ease it back out. And you could think of a wave coming up and easing back out. And now you're going to move up the back of your body and find your shoulder blades. And so you're sensing and feeling your shoulder blades. You might even lean a little bit to one side and then lean a little bit to the other if that helps you to find them and really feel them. And then you're going to find the lower points of the shoulder blades because they're shaped a little bit like a triangle. And you're going to focus on those lower points of your shoulder blades. And you're going to ask your body how it would go about ever so slightly pulling those 2 points towards each other. Now, you've both probably done many exercises or know something about squeezing your shoulder blades. And I'd like you to go ahead and do that once or twice so you can see this is basically the compensated way that you've learned how to get your shoulders back. Your rib tips pop up and your shoulders push back. And that is how your body has been currently putting your shoulder blades together. But all of the modern things we do with our hands forward has the shoulder blades being able to retract is not as well habituated. So you're going to leave all of those compensations and you're going to focus on the area just in between those shoulder blades. And again, it's asking the body how it would ever so gently and slightly pull the shoulder blade points together. Not all the way together. This is not a large movement. In fact, mostly what you want to do is wake up and recruit the nerves and muscle cells that are in between the shoulder blades. And if you get them to wiggle a little bit slightly closer together, that's perfect for your first time. This waking up and then practicing this regularly will one day have you be able to move your shoulder blades without all of that compensation. But for now, it's just waking things up. And then just come back to your breath again. And this is all that you're going to begin with your practice. We're going to film the rest of the floor moves another time. But for now, if you can take just 5 to 10 minutes and be on the floor and be with your breath and be an experience and begin to practice being in charge of what your mind is thinking. By every time you notice it thinking, you redirect your focus back to sensation. And since you're listening to me, I've been helping you to stay focused on sensation and sometimes play the audio, but also sometimes just all by yourself, lie on the floor with your legs up and go through the breathing and these 2 moves. And you will begin to notice just how much your mind can try to keep you focused on it and not focused on sensation. And it's a practice. Every time you notice your mind trying to grab your attention, you just redirect back to sensation. And pretty soon this habit will grow and provide you so much benefit. How you guys feel?
Relax.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, also, this is a state. When you get done, you're in a different nervous system state. And if you anchor this state, meaning you really, really spend a moment feeling what it's like to be in this state, and then you get up off the floor and you start moving about your day, and now you're going to observe yourself as you're moving through the day through your nervous system, because you'll be able to tell when you start doing activities how much your nervous system goes back up into tension. Mm-hmm. And you're just going to observe. You don't have to do anything major about it. If you notice that your tension is high, then just simply pause and close your eyes for a minute and remember the floor and come back to your breath. And just by doing that, you're going to bring yourself back to these neutral states. And the more often you can remember and do that, the better your day will go.
So this state is really how we should be walking through our every day.
Yeah. Oh, imagine that.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, I introduced this work to a woman recently, and she sent me a message. She said, "Oh my God, I'm feeling so amazing, but I was trying to get some work done, And she's like, I'm just too relaxed to get any work done. And I said, yes, and it's lovely. And what we don't realize is that we don't have to do work in tension. We just have to practice and to be able to see that the jobs that we get done under stress, that if we did those jobs without the stress, how much more impact whatever we're doing would have, because we'd have enough time to see the bigger picture for things.
Yeah, and more time to be creative.
Exactly.
So Carolyn, I have a question. In the beginning you mentioned when you're on the floor to have the rib and these bones as like pretty much as even as possible. If someone lies down and they recognize that that's not happening for them, would they prop themselves up somehow here, or how
No,
would you
it's
adjust?
more pillow under
It's
the
here.
shoulders. Yep.
Okay.
You see how
To bring
that brings your ribs in a line.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to lift the butt up because this 90-90 position is
Wants to
perfect
stay-
for
okay.
Bringing hip flexors back to neutral.
Okay. And
we
then
want that.
ideally is morning to do this. Let's say
Ideally.
if you can't do it in the morning, what's the next, like, could you do it anytime during the day?
You can do it anytime during the day. You could do it multiple times in the day if you wanted to. The whole floor routine you don't need to do multiple times, but this you could. And the only thing is you could do it at night before you go to bed, but then you just don't, if it's the whole floor routine, then you're just sleeping on it when you wake up the next morning.
Yeah.
When this part you can do any old time. When we get to the whole floor routine, you're better off doing that before you start your day, because then you're just bringing a body that you know where everything is. You're completely aware of what's going on in your body. And then it's got all of the pieces as in integrity as they possibly can be. And then everything that you do is going to have that better strength, better function, better integrity.
Okay.
So it's just to remind us of the state that we're supposed to be feeling throughout the day. So it's better in the morning.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carolyn.
All right.
Thank
Thank you so much. I've learned so much.